Hey everyone, welcome in. This is Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper, and I am live for my Monday weekly card class from Maine. So thank you so much for joining me. I am really excited about this card class tonight, and I didn't think originally that I would be as excited as I actually am. This is just so amazing to me. Now, you might think that lemons are not the most exciting thing to stamp with, but when we get into our class tonight, which is with this Sweet Citrus bundle by Stampin' Up, citrus, so you can do lemons, you can do oranges, you can do grapefruits, there have been coconuts, there's been all kinds of creative things done with this bundle, but this also involves a hybrid embossing folder, and these are very unique products. Stampin' Up has rolled these out. I think this might be the fourth time that they've had a hybrid embossing folder, and they are a little bit different to use, and they are this one of all of them. So there's the wood ring one that came out in the fall catalog. Last spring catalog we had one with a heart with Valentine's Day, really fancy embossing folder with a heart in the middle. And previous to that, I think the catalog before that was the poinsettia, the Merriest Frames maybe. It was poinsettias, and there was an embossing folder with dies. This one is by far my favorite, and I wouldn't have gone on record thinking that lemons would be my favorite, but I have had so much fun making these cards. So we're going to talk about all the ways that we can use this amazing bundle, and this is our first card. So that one's really pretty simple. This one is super fabulous fun. Lots of good colors in that one, right? Very sweet. And then this one, I have to remember to hold it the right side up. This one is probably my favorite because it's the most elegant and it's evergreen. I love it. That's my favorite color, really. And we'll be retiring soon. So make sure you're saying hi as you jump on. I see Jess. Hi, Jess. Thank you so much for being excited. I'm very excited about this class tonight too. And I said earlier, I didn't think that I would be, but I really am. I have been having so much fun with these lemons. So I'm probably going to make lots of different varieties of cards to show you how awesome they really are. Let's get over to my workspace. Make sure you're saying hi as you jump on. I love to know who's watching me on a Monday evening. And here we go. So we're going to talk about, again, what is the Sweet Citrus bundle. So it's in the catalog. It's the January catalog. It's on page 49, and it doesn't look that impressive right here. It really doesn't look that impressive. That's probably why I wasn't that impressed when it first came out. And there's a couple of samples over here too, next to the Taco Fiesta. So there's some samples in here, and they're okay. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the samples aren't as exciting as they could be. So you do get the Sweet Citrus stamp set. It is photopolymer. I have actually used every stamp already in this set. I've used them more than once, but just amazing. It amazes me. All right, so when you get this package right here, if you do get the bundle, or if you just get the Sweet Citrus Hybrid Embossing Folder, you think you're ordering a folder. It tells you right here you're ordering an embossing folder for $32, which is incorrect. Technically, you're ordering an embossing folder and the dies. It comes in one package, just like this. It comes in this package, and after you open that package up, you have the dies and you have the embossing folder. So this is what the hybrid is. So the hybrid is designed to not only just be an embossing folder, but to have a set of dies that work with it. You want to work with where the Stampin' Up logo is. You're going to see that this die, which is all connected, fits right in here, and it seats in there really nicely so that we can actually emboss and die cut at the same time. And I'm going to show you how these work. This is just so amazing, but there's lots of ways that you can use this. So you can use this as the embossing folder only. So you can just use this as an embossing folder. You're going to get some Sweet Citrus in the background. You can just use the dies, which we're going to do on our first card. This very first card we're going to make, I stamped and I die cut. That's all I did. Super simple, right? Then you can do the embossing folder and dies at the same time. So I just kind of showed you how that would work together. You can emboss and then die cut. So if you're kind of afraid about lining it up, you can actually send this through your machine to emboss it, and then when you take it out, you can use your embossed piece and die cut. Okay, so your embossing isn't going to be as nice, but you can do it that way. You can also stamp first, then emboss it, then die cut, or you can stamp it, die cut it, and emboss. And those are all the different ways that I can think of that you can use it. There's lots of different ways. There's no one way, there's no two ways, there's lots of ways. So I wanted to kind of share that with you so you have an idea of all the good stuff that you can do with this. Now remember, these come together, so your dies and your embossing folder come together. If you want the bundle, you're just basically getting the stamp set and then this whole pack up right here. And this bundle is $49.50, so it's not their most expensive bundle, but it is a lot of fun. So we're going to talk a lot about this today as we get going. Let me move my catalog out of the way. We're going to get organized in here and get our stuff together, and it's going to be amazing. Now, this again is our first card that we're going to be working on, and I didn't talk to you yet about ordering with me this week. So when you're ordering with me during the week that I hold a card class, so every Monday I come on, I do a card class, I show 3 cards. So these are our 3 cards that we're going to do tonight. We got 1, 2, 3. These are our cards. So if you place an order with me over $35 using my host code, you're going to get the card kits for free in the mail, and you're getting 2 of each. So you're getting 6 card kits. There's a lot of, this is exactly what, this is a whole pack of card kits that you would be getting. So you're getting 2 card bases, 2 envelopes. You're getting designer paper. You're getting papers that are embossed, punched, cut. You're getting lots of designer paper in that one. This one, you're getting a tag. You're getting all these little elements here that make up all the fancies on this card. Look at them all just peeking out of here. So you get all of those with a $35 order. If you go to $50, you're getting Sale-A-Bration for free from Stampin' Up, because it's still Sale-A-Bration time. We've got a couple weeks left to get Sale-A-Bration items out of that catalog. And then I'm also going to throw in a pack of the 3 Twine Combo Pack. So these are the 3 colors that you're getting, and I use them on each card. So I've got this is Coastal Cabana. This one I'm pretty sure is Pumpkin Pie. I use that one on that one. And then I use this one right here. I believe this might be Garden Green. Now I can't remember the color. The actual color may not be, let's see, on page 59. I have to look this up or it's going to really bug me. Yes, Garden Green, Coastal Cabana, Pumpkin Pie. So I use them on each of my cards. I also stuck with very simple embellishments here too. I just use the rhinestone jewels on each of these. So if you have some nice little bling, you can add them too. But I am offering this as a freebie with a $50 order this week with your card kits, because I did use them on all of them. Holy cow, that's a lot of card parts and pieces right there. As I design my classes, of course, I start out with a simple card, because I like to do simple first. And then I get more complex. And by the time I get to the 3rd card, I'm like, whoa, I need to start taking this down a notch. I am just going crazy with the cutting and the die cutting and all of the parts and pieces. And it's just a lot. It's a lot that I'm offering. Sometimes I can't believe that I'm offering all of this to you guys. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying my classes if you've taken them and when you've been ordering with me. Really appreciate it. And I would also like your feedback. Are you finding them useful or fun, or do you wish I didn't send them to you? I mean, I just don't know sometimes what you guys are out there thinking on these card kits. But this is our first card kit, and we're going to start really simple here with I did make a base. So your bases, your card bases, 8.5, 5.5 by 8.5. You're going to score it in half to create your card base, your A2 size card base. So let's just talk about how simple you can create some cards with these, because a lot of these are layers. I love the layers. So we're going to do some layers before we do any stamping at all, because I know that sometimes I do classes. Oh, I like this one too. This is the problem. This is the problem. Then you're going to look at this one and go, maybe I'm going to flip it this time. We're going to flip it because you know how I like to try different things. So this is the one side of the paper. This is the other. You can see the green in my card here. I'm going to do opposite just so we can see what it looks like. So you're going to get 2 card kits at home. So basically you could make one of each just like this. But what I was starting to say is sometimes you guys are out there, I think you're getting hung up on, well, I don't want an ice cream class because I don't want to do anything with ice cream. But the card kits are universal card kits. You don't have to do, and you don't have to do lemons. You might be looking at this and going, I'm not going to do lemons. Well, you certainly don't have to do lemons. You already have a card base and a couple of layers. We're going to add this layer on right next, although I probably could have used that paper too. And I'm going to put this on here. And here we go. This is the start of your card right here, just like this. So if you didn't want to do lemons, what could you do with this card? Could you add some flowers? Could you add a tree? Could you put some leaves on it? This one probably you could do a lighthouse. So don't think that just because I'm doing a lemon card, you have to do a lemon card. The cards are universal pieces. You have all kinds of papers here. You can do whatever you want with it. These are the papers that you're going to stamp on and die cut. So whether you're using your own paper at home and doing this, whether you love the lemon and you're going to get it and you're going to make cards just like this, I just want to explain that you don't have to make lemons if you don't want to. Don't do it if you don't want to. But anyway, we are going to talk all about the lemons today because this is such a cool kit. All right, so I have the biggest block available for this stamp, which is this one right here in the case. And it's all together. It's the outline circle, the half, if you will, like a half lemon. Oh, I used it on something else that I can't show you yet because I want to show you another time. A slice and then a whole lemon. So these are all together just like this. And it's a really good size piece, a stamp. So I feel like either on the biggest block or your Stamparatus is going to work best. This is the next stamp right here. It's a set of 3. And this is the inside stamping for the lemons. Now this one fits on the next block down, which is perfect. But this one is it's just a little bit big for this block. It probably could be done, but I thought maybe the bigger block would work a little bit better. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp these beautiful little lemons right here. And I'm going to show you all kinds of combos tonight. We're going to do daffodil and so saffron. I have so many inks out right now because we have a lot of lemons and citrus to cover tonight. All right, so we're going to start with Daffodil Delight. This is the darker of the 2 yellows that I'm using first. And I'm going to ink this all up. This is, again, the outline. So I think it's easier to do the outline first. And because this is such a big block, it's also nice to just get it out of the way. So we're just going to put it on here as long as it fits on this paper. And it should fit on this paper. I know it does. I think I just have to turn it. I'm getting confused by the way that my stamp is sitting on there. But it's going to come down here just like this. This is the Daffodil Delight. And here we have the beginnings of some lemons. So let me put this away real quick. And I definitely am going to be cleaning my stamps as I go tonight because we are going to cover a lot of citrus. It's a good time of year to think about citrus, right? We're like in the middle of winter. Definitely a good time of year for all that good stuff. All right, so the next one we're going to bring in is going to be So Saffron. So this is a little bit lighter of a yellow. So we've got Daffodil, So Saffron. And we are going to bring in the filler stamp. So this is all the juicy insides of our citrus. And this one you're going to line up, obviously circle to the circle, the half, the kind of oval to the oval, and then this slice to this one right here. So you're just lining them up, and they are photopolymers, so you can see through. Now there will be some white around them, so don't think you have to be like super perfect, but look at how cute and realistic these already are. This is just stamped. This does have nothing to do with the embossing yet. We are just stamping these ones first. So let me clean this off really quickly, and then I'm going to show you that we could grab out dies and die cut these. So all you're doing now, if you don't want to use the embossing folder, this was one of the ways that I talked about using this, right? You're going to run this through your machine just like this. And when you're done, you are going to have, I had parts and pieces somewhere and now I've lost them. Let's see. Parts and pieces. Parts and pieces. Come on out. Okay. When you're all done, they will die cut out individually, and you're going to have a slice, and you're going to have the circle, and you're going to have this one, except that I stole it and I used it on another project, and I can't wait to show you the other project. So, so you can use just one thing on a card. You could just use these 2 things on a card if you wanted to. Now, I've used 3 out of 4 on this card. And on my other cards, I've used different combinations. So again, you could just use a couple of things, whatever you want to do. But that's what it's going to look like when you're all done. And then all we're going to do is we're going to add these on here. And I'm just looking to see. I did add dimensionals. So that's what we're going to do. Now, when you get your card kits at home, I also send you written PDF tutorial. And it's got the card dimensions. So if you wanted to cut up paper exactly like this recipe, you could definitely do that again. Let's see, we're going to just put a couple on that one, and I think we're going to put maybe 1 on this one. And so that way you can kind of read the directions and then know what's going to go where. So you're going to see here that I'm just going to kind of dry fit these on here. Just like that. So they're going to kind of go on my card. And then of course we have something that we need to stamp a sentiment on. Now the base on this card is Night of Navy. Really like the nice blue with the blue and yellow, right? Classic colors. And I need to get out a sentiment. I used Have a Zesty Birthday. And I don't have that mounted right now, so I'm going to mount that up real quickly. Like I said, I have been playing with these stamps so much that I couldn't keep all of them out. Sometimes I like to put my photopolymer down with the flat side up where my block is going to go on it and just kind of line it up like that so it's mounted on my clear block. And this is going to come on here just in the middle. And Have a Zesty Birthday. This font is really cool font too. I'm always a fan of different fonts. So, okay, I think I'm done with that one. I can set that aside. And I'm just going to do the very classic snip both ends and just kind of outline my sentiment. This is my favorite way right now to, instead of flagging, because flagging can be hard. Like if you have to chop toward the middle and cut two ends, this is more difficult, but this looks just perfect like that. We're of course going to need a little bit of our twine. And again, this is going to be your freebie gift from me if you're over 50 with my host code this week. So I think I have a piece already done. So we're just going to cut a little piece of twine. You're going to have lots of twine left over, of course, but these are some really great colors going into summertime. Perfect colors. So we're just going to make a little bow, and then we're just going to throw these on here real quick. So let's get that part done. And then we can decide if we really like the green paper better, or if we still prefer this white stripy paper. The white stripy paper might be a little lacking in, I'm not sure what, but we're just gonna layer this little lemons together just like that. And if I can find a glue dot, we're gonna just put a glue dot for the knot of my twine bow right down here and catch that little bow right there. Oh, it's so cute. I love when the bows get all jaunty like, and they just have a little swag. I love that so much. All right, and then we're going to want a dimensional on the back of this guy. I got to find my dimensionals again. We're going to put one on this end because we're going to glue that end. And that end's going to go kind of across the lemons a little bit. We can decide how far down we want to go. Maybe right about here. Oh, I'm adjusting. I'm still adjusting. Okay, right about there. Have a Zesty Birthday. And then of course I threw on some little gems here, some of these nice little rhinestones. My package, I've used a lot of the bigger ones, so I don't have as many of the bigger ones anymore. So we're gonna just maybe make do with some of these smaller ones today. I have more on order. I do tend to go through the things now. So there we have it, our first card. Really simple, really cute, right? So we've got the green. I think I like the green better. This might be an instance where I actually prefer the green to the white, although the white is nice too. I don't know. You guys in the comments are going to have to let me know what you're thinking. Which one do you prefer? But it's kind of fun when you have paper that you could use either side of, because sometimes you get paper that you're like, oh no, absolutely not. That's not going to work for me. So that is card number one. Super easy and cute, right? So that was a simple way to use the stamp and die out of this sweet citrus, and you get some really awesome and realistic, they're like realistic looking, I think, citrus fruits. Check out this one. We are going to move on to card number two. This one is, so each card's going to get a little bit bigger and bolder. And of course, this is Melon Mambo with so much fun in it, right? So this is your card kit. We're going to pull out a whole bunch of parts and pieces here. And I'm going to divvy them up real quickly because I'm giving you cardstock to create anything for the bundle. So I'm not die cutting or stamping for you. In the bundle, we've got the leaves, we've got the flowers, so that's what some of this is intended for. Of course, you have a sentiment piece, and I like to give you a variety of designer series paper, and this is like paper from all over the place, which makes it even more fun. All right, we have some things to do some stamping on, and the smaller ones are for stamping. The larger ones are actually going to go on to your card base. So let me see if I can get myself organized here for just a second. And we're going to get this one put together. So I already scored a base. So just like to make sure it opens in the right direction before I get crazy. And then we're just going to start layering some stuff on. So once again, if you got this card kit and you didn't want to do anything with citrus, you could do all kinds of fun things with it. This is going to be a very nice bold pink card. So we're actually putting a nice white layer in the background here. This white helps to bring everything together. So we've got a nice white right here. And then we got some designer series paper, this one and this one. So I'm just going to show you here real quickly. There's just 2 layers right here. And you guys can decide too at home how many layers and how many things you really want to put on your card. If you get my card kits, you know they're overflowing in abundance. There's a lot of stuff on them, and maybe it's too much stuff for you, so then you're going to use it. Look at how pretty. Maybe you're going to use some of these parts and pieces for other things, and that's okay. It's your creative kit. You can do whatever you like. So here we go. Bones of the card going on right here. And we're going to actually put this one down, which is nice, right? Easy peasy. We're just doing layers, layers, layers. That one looks like it's just slightly shorter than it should be. So sometimes my my cuts may not be perfect. I think I have 2 of them. I don't need that one though. That should have gone with the other one. Okay, moving that one over. All right, so, oh yeah, I meant to move all of these out of the way. See, that's why I get confused. I have so many parts and pieces out. Now this piece, this is a really fun piece too. And I have this one up here. And the reason I added a little extra orange in here was because I have orange and pink, which are really awesome, fun colors together. But I felt like this is really pink, and to put orange on here without supporting it with something else that's a little bit orange just seemed a little unnatural. So I like to try to bring all of my colors together nicely. Plus it's got some of that pink in it. So I thought that was really cool. So let's see what we got going on here. Let's see where we're at with this really fun card kit. So if you had this card right now and you didn't do lemons with it, what would you do with it? Would you add flowers? Would you add a cat? Would you add something, just sentiment, just a sentiment? I mean, you could make anything with this kit, right? This is a kit right here. Now these parts and pieces are all for stamping, and we're going to talk about the amazing, fantastic, all of these little parts and pieces we're going to do next. So we're going to actually do some flowers and some leaves, and I have Granny Apple Green. Yes, I have Granny Apple Green right here. So these are tone on tone, and I've seen a lot of samples where people are using this bundle and they're stamping on white paper for their flowers and their leaves, but I like to change it up a little bit. I like to be a little bit different. So when you get your kit, you're not going to stamp like that because that's incorrect. We're going to flip it over if you have to and do it again. So you're going to be able to get 2 sets of these leaves on here, and you're going to cut those apart and die cut them, and that's with Granny Apple Green on Granny Apple Green. And then I want to talk to you about the flowers. There's actually 2 flower stamps. One of them is a trio of flowers, and it's got these cute little dots. I don't know if you can see the little dots. Maybe over here. See these little dots that surround? Now when you die cut, you don't get the little dots, you just get the flowers. But if you were to stamp on something, you're going to get these little dots in between and dots around there, which are really, really cute. All right, so we're going to do tone on tone. We've got Melon Mambo, and we're going to do the Melon Mambo right here on that one, and we're going to do a couple of pumpkin pie on this one, and this is just kind of a bigger one right here, right? So you can kind of see those, but before I put those away, oh, I should clean these. Let me clean these. We are using the flowers on card number 3. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about these tiny right here. You can see tiny little stamps, and by tiny I mean they are like really tiny. They're actually individual, so you could use them one at a time, or if you wanted to, you could line them up on your trio. So you've got one stamp here in the big one, and then this one is like kind of like a pair of eyes, right? So it's connected. There's 2 little centers connected. You could line those up down here. All right, so I have the stamps on my paper. I'm just going to bring my block in and pick them up. So now when I ink up right over here, I can just stamp down once and get all the centers at the same time. How cool is that? I thought that was a really cool trick. However, if you're doing the big flowers, obviously you're only going to need the one center one, so you can either just try to catch just that and hit the center. Or you can have some scrap paper if you're, you know, if you're doing something off to the side. So here are the differences then between the flowers. So you get some nice varieties of flowers here. All right, and then of course there's dies to cut these out, right? And what the best part about these dies, besides this, I just love this set. I'm going to talk about that quite a bit today, is you actually get 2 of the trio flowers, 2 of the big flowers, so 2 of these, and you get 2 of the leaves. So you can actually die cut 2 of each of these at the same time if you want to, which is really nice. So you're not cranking through 1 flower at a time. I don't know how many die sets they have, like the tiniest little flower that you have to crank through 50 times, right, to get enough for your card front. So these are part of the bundle, so I'm not going to die cut them right now. I actually have a set already ready to go. So we're saving time on that because we want to talk next about, oh, I should probably stamp my sentiment. I get distracted sometimes. Enjoy the sweeter things in life is my sentiment for this one. And then we're going to talk about lemons or grapefruit. This is more like grapefruit this time. Although I think my grapefruit got a little out of control. I was looking at it after I finished it and I was like, man, I really went dark and bold on the grapefruit. Maybe I need to back off a little bit on the color. Not quite so bold. All right, so let me bring my sentiment piece back down in here. Flip that over and we'll see if we can get a nice image on that side right there. Enjoy the sweeter things in life. And I'm going to try to center this as best I can because I actually kept this the same width right here. Go straight across. So you can kind of see how that goes right across there. And this is nice about this little orange piece. You could actually center your sentiment in it, or you can put it up above. Way up above or just partially up above. So I like to have a lot of options. All right, let's talk about how fantastical are these little embossed and die cut grapefruit. We're going to call them grapefruit. That's what we're going to call them. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up in our embossing folder. So we're putting the hybrid die goes down, so the cutting edge is facing up right now, and right here on this side I can see the Stampin' Up logo. So that's how this can go in here, and it sits in there pretty good. It doesn't wiggle around too much. We're just going to put some white cardstock. Now you're going to get a piece this size. You can do whatever you like with it. We're going to put it in there and just make sure that all of these things are covered up, and then when we run it through the machine, we're actually, maybe I'll bring my machine in and do an actual, let's do a run through real quick with the big boss. So I want you to remember that even though you're using dies, this is an embossing folder with dies, right? So it's an embossing folder that's thick. So we're going to use plate number 4. So plate number 4, we're not using this as we're not using it like it's a, we're just using dies, right? So when you just use dies, you have that whole big, you know, lots of plates, lots going on. So check this out. We're going to open this up and out is going to pop. Now this you could still use on another card. How cool is that, right? You can put different color lemons and things in here and fill it in, kind of like a puzzle, right? But how cool is that? We're getting all of our little parts and pieces just like this. Now this is white cardstock because we're going to sponge it, but I could have done this on yellow cardstock or orange cardstock or pink cardstock, and everything would have come out already with a color on it. So, but I want to show you the sponging that I'm going to do. So let me set everything aside and not lose it. Craft room is very messy. All right, let's do some sponging. I'm pretty sure I have some paper here because we are creating this fun looking card. Now I went a little crazy with the sponging. We're not going to use the lemon. The lemon really doesn't work for this card. I actually had a couple of these set aside and I've already used them on something else. Like I said, this has been the most fun. All right, melon mambo and pumpkin pie somewhere right here, pumpkin pie. And I label my little daubers, so I've got like just little little office type label thingies, file labels. And I label them so that I know which color is which on there. So we're going to start with the middles and we're going to just add in some color. Maybe I'll try to add a little less color this time and see if we like it better. You know, I'm always up for some experimenting, right? So here is a nice little bit of color, just picking up all of the highs and lows right there. And we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm just trying to focus on the middle of each of these. I'm gonna try to do this a little bit lighter. This is really dark. I don't know what I was thinking. Sometimes I get carried away. All right, we can always add more. If we get done and we don't like it, we will add more. Now next I'm gonna bring in the pumpkin pie, and we're gonna just go ahead and everything else is getting an outline of pumpkin pie. And I know that there's other color combinations out there. I try to not look at too many other patterns and designs because I like to try to keep it my own ideas first, right? So feel free to check out other people's colors and patterns and designs as well, because you get really great ideas that way. I just try to not copy somebody else's because I want to be unique that way, right? And it's kind of more fun to just have that artistic license to just play and go. So here we go. I'm just using some nice pumpkin pie all along, so it's getting nice and orange, and I'm definitely going lighter than my first one. We're going to see how it looks on the actual card once we get done putting all the color on here. Now if you don't have daubers and you just have sponge wedges, this would work too. I feel like you have more control than with the blender brushes. We are going to use a blender brush on the last card, but I feel like this probably has a little bit more control. I'm going to come back in with a mambo real quick. There's not a lot on here, but I'm just going to come down here toward the bottom and just kind of add that extra dimension of color. So it just changes it up just a little bit, and maybe I might need a little bit more actually. So don't be afraid to like kind of come back through, add a little bit here and there. That's the fun of this part. I mean, stamping is fun, but sometimes adding color to things is even better. I'm just going to add a little bit more randomly, not everywhere, so that way it's just a little bit different here and there. Okay, I hope that I'm happy with how much pink is on here. Okay, we're going to call that good. We're going to compare the cards because I feel like comparison is key. So let's do that, and let's finish putting this one together because that's all we have left to do. Now I said earlier that I had an envelope with all my little die cuts and such. Come on out, babies. Oh look, I even had extra little lemons and things, which is really nice too, right? So I can save these. I'm so excited about these. I will save those for another time because I'm going to continue to use those. So let's put this down here first, and then we're going to add on all of our citrus. So again, I'm just going to leave part of that showing, part of it not showing. Beautiful little card base right going on right there, and then I've got my little die cut flowers and leaves. I'm going to bring in some different size dimensionals because I find that the flowers, of course, they could use the minis. Now, if you have just big ones, you could cut them in half, or you can cut, you know, parts and pieces of whatever you need to. But I like to put a couple of these little flowers up top. So I'm just going to pop these right over here. Get the back off of this one. And we're going to put just a couple of them up here. Again, this card has kind of a tropical vibe to it. I feel like it's very tropical. All right, let's come down here with the greens. Hopefully I didn't lose any of my green. Here they are. Okay, so with the greens, I'm just going to actually glue them down flat. If I can get them picked up again. And that way I don't have to worry about how that's all going to work with my citrus. They're just kind of out of the way, and I can put the citrus up a little bit higher. So I'm just kind of putting them on there just like that, getting my greens on there. And then we're going to flip these over, and we're going to add some dimensionals on the back of these, just like we did on the first card. I'm just going to add probably 3 on this one. Let's start with this guy. We're just going to put him down real quick. So he's going to come over here. Okay, I'm trying to decide if I like this or not. I don't know, maybe I like the bolder colors. Okay, we're going to put a couple of them on the little wedge down here, this little slice. And he's going to come this way, kind of about here. Yeah, he can go there. All right, so I'm going to actually just put a dimensional, a couple of them right here in the middle of these so that I don't have to guess where on this it's going to go to fit here perfectly. So think about that when you're doing your card making. If you're layering pieces that are dimensional and they're all separate pieces, you may want to, you know, add your dimensionals right to the project rather than have bumps up in different areas where it just doesn't quite work. So we're going to just go ahead and finish adding on our little flowers. Isn't this the sweetest card? Like, this is the sweetest card. This would, I feel like this would be, I know the saying says enjoy the sweet things in life. I feel like this could be a nice little get well card too, because it's very cheery. And citrus and vitamin C are very important things when you're not feeling good, right? So I'm just continuing to play with flowers. Now, of course, you could, if you had the set, you could add however many flowers you wanted to. You can go crazy with the flowers. I just almost use my flowers as if I was using embellishments. I have a nice triangle of 3 items, just like that. So that worked out really well. And we're going to bring in the pumpkin pie. I was so excited to be able to use all 3 of these colors on a card, on each different card. For this twine giveaway. I try to pick out my embellishments ahead of time as I plan my card classes in advance. I try to pick out embellishments that I think will go really well with the card theme, and then I buy them ahead of time because I never know how many people are going to order from me during the week and how many people are going to earn the embellishments for free. So I have to have a few of them on hand so that when I get to the Monday that I'm mailing out the kit, I am ready to rock and roll. Look how cute that is. So I was really excited to create a class for you that worked with all 3 of these colors. We're going to use the green one on our last card. So I just was really excited about that. It's little things, right? There's an backing of yes, an backing of the my words are stuck. My dimensional backing was on there and it needed to go away. I feel like I should have had another, there's 1, 2, I feel like there should be another one on here. It probably came off. Where would I have put the 3rd one? I'm going to put it over here. Again, we're going to create that little triangle of items, whether they're embellishments, whether they're stamped pieces. I'm going to put this one up here. All right, so now we have 3 on each, right? So they're kind of forming a triangle, odd shaped triangles, but triangles. So here we go. We've got 2 finished cards now. I would love to know which card you like better. Do you like the really dark grapefruit or the more, you know, not so dark grapefruit? I mean, they both are really nice, I think. I don't know. Sometimes I have to think about it for a while before I come back to it, and you know, I'm not sure. But there's card number 2, so that's our second card. And now we're going to move on to card number 3, which is the pretty card. I love this one so much. So let me find my card kit because I bury stuff as I go. I get everything out and then I put things over top of things and it's hard to find the things. So this is your card kit. Again, you're getting 2 of each. I have a base set aside with some parts and pieces. But look at how many things are in this. This is all of the things. There's a lot of things in this one. This is where I was like, oh my gosh, I got to start taking it down a notch. I think I'm going a little crazy with all the things on the card kits. I know other demonstrators also offer card kits, you know, free with $35 purchase and what have you. And I need to like probably do what they're doing more than doing my we need lots of layers on the cards and they got to be full of the things. And yeah, because here we go. I got all of these little parts and pieces cut. Now this is like my favorite punch in the world probably right now. This is the bow punch. So you get the nice big leaf and you get the little sprig. And we have the combination of both here. And I used a lot of colors in this card. So the Evening Evergreen is the base. And then I've got in here Bermuda Bay, Pear Pizzazz. This is soft succulent. This one is Pool Party, and this one is Soft Seafoam. So those are all of the green colors that kind of make up, and then we did some stamping as well with the Granny Apple. Lots of green colors in here. Now I am giving you the die cut here for the tag. It might be hard to see it underneath, but it is here, and it's underneath kind of this, this makeup of all of these oranges. Now these are going to be stamping pieces. We're going to stamp on those. We're going to stamp on those. You're getting a layer. Now you're getting this layer. Oh, and when you open your kit, don't lose these little tiny grommety things because they're super tiny. That's actually going to go right over top of this little spot right here. It's the little details that really count, right? Now when you get your kit, you're going to have your card base, and you're going to have this layer, and they're going to look very similar, right? This is just a layer, and I actually embossed this layer just like this and put it on my card base because I'm not embossing it for you because it's part of the bundle. You will be embossing it yourself. Now if you're not making a citrus card with this kit, you could use any embossing folder that you own and emboss this piece, and you've got the green on green tone similar to what we're going to work with right here. So let me set some of these things aside, and we're going to talk about a different way to use our embossing folder on here too today. But first, let's just use the embossing folder. We're just going to straight up use the embossing folder like it's an embossing folder. And we're going to do this green piece because I don't think I did one previous. So I'm just going to line this up in here using this little black line at the bottom to make sure it's nice and even. I'm going to bring in my machine one more time. It's going on the base. And even though there's not dies in it, it's just the embossing folder, we're doing the same thing. We're bringing in plate number 4 and running it through because it really is an embossing folder at this point. Let me move those aside again and pull this out. And you're going to see that this looks a little bit different than my sample because I actually brought in the blender brush and some Evening Evergreen ink, and I darkened it down quite a bit. And I darkened it down really pretty much over top of all of the raised citrus. So you're just going to kind of go over wherever there's raised citrus. I'm going to add extra green right on top, and it almost kind of blackens them a little bit. It's really an interesting thing that you're doing here. And you don't have to worry as much about the middle. So I don't know if you can tell the difference or not, but over here, if I turn it in the light a little bit, over here I did none, and then these ones have the darker green ink put on them. This is a really great way to practice with your blending brushes too, because sometimes it's hard, right, to do these things. And if you're doing this on a white paper and you're getting, you're getting ink everywhere, you're like, oh my gosh. So it's kind of helpful to kind of learn how to do, darken that down a little bit when it's tone on tone. Always recommending that part. All right, let me set that aside. You're also going to notice maybe that I've got this kind of roughed up a little bit. It looks a little wrinkly, and that's kind of that shabby chic look. And I know that it's not for everyone. And if I can find my scissors, I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, if you don't like this look, then you're just going to glue this down. It's going to go on here just plain, flat, simple, easy peasy. But I'm going to open up the edge of my scissors, and I'm going to actually dig a little bit here. And you're going to tear it a little bit too. And it's okay. I mean, don't go crazy, right? So there's a little tear right there. It's going to tear more where the citrus is. But you can kind of go down through here a little bit. And you're going to just kind of go along and scrape a little bit. And don't, like I said, don't go nuts. Or if you do, then it's going to be really shabby chic. Okay, so that one's going to scrape a little bit that way. Now you can kind of see the fibers are coming up off the paper, right? This is a fun thing about Stampin' Up! Paper too, is the paper is dyed all the way through. So the core, the inside of the paper, is the same color as the edges, like the front and back, right? So Stampin' Up! Dyes their paper all the way through. So as we're doing this, there's all kinds of little green shrapnel coming down here, like, right? All these little green fluffy things. The fibers are coming out of my paper, and this is the shabby chic of it. So if you want to bend it a little bit, kind of wrinkle it a little bit more. That's all up to you. But it's going to go on my base and it's going to be totally interesting. Now again, this isn't for everybody. I know that some of my friends out there that are stamping, they're like, oh my gosh, they don't like tearing paper, they don't like roughing it up, they don't like any of that kind of thing. But if it's something that you want to try out, use your scissors open just like I did and kind of just rough along the edges. And it's actually kind of fun. I just feel like it really enhances the all the elements here. And it doesn't have to lay down completely flat either. You can wrinkle up the corners a little bit. I just really like it that way. Totally different. All right, so we're going to talk about this little grommet here. We're going to glue this down here. And because this is so tiny, we're just going to add just a little bit of glue here on around the edge of the opening. And we're going to pick this up. Hopefully we're going to pick this up. Let's use this nice take your pick tool. It's got that tacky putty end. I can see that I totally put a drop of glue where I didn't need it. I just use my fingernail, the edge of my fingernail. You could use a toothpick, just kind of pick up any extra glue. But there, that's on there now. So just the smallest little thing. We're going to add some twine here and we're going to make a nice little bow. And it's nice that this little tag is going to actually hold our bow down for us rather than have to like put a glue dot on there or figure out where on the card we're going to place our bow. So I'm just going to attempt to do my little bow right off the spool, just so I don't have to cut it and guess. Although probably might have been easier to cut it because I think I guessed wrong. Hey, part 2 is, this is what we're going to do instead. We're going to leave it more of a knot this time, I think. We're just going to knot it up a little bit. This one will be a knot instead of a bow. So there we go. If you don't want to do a bow, do some knotting instead. We'll just kind of, my knots are not even working. My knots don't even want to work out tonight, but there we go. I'm going to do like a knot this time instead of a bow. So we'll see how that goes. And if I hate it, I will take it off and I will start over because I can. Now this is going to come on here with dimensionals, I'm guessing. Yes, it does. Okay, I probably should write out my directions between making the card and doing my live demonstration. I usually go back and do the PDF after and kind of take into consideration how my live demonstration went and things that I might have forgotten when I made my card. And then I try to add in all those little notes at the end. But maybe some notes partway through would be a little helpful too. So we're just going to pop this onto our card. Now again, if you were doing this without the citrus, you might have a different background. And look at all this green we've got going on. That's a lot of green. That's a lot of really dark green. So we are going to be lightening this up with all kinds of good stuff here. And I wanted to talk to you about how I made these really awesome, we're going to call these oranges. They actually started out as lemons, but then they got kind of dark. So then I was like, okay, now they're oranges. All right, so let me move that aside. We're going to do some more stamping this time. So we're going to bring in, again, the big background first, and we're going to bring in Mango Melody. Mango Melody first. And we're going to do our background in mango, which is really more yellow than orange, but stick with me because we got a lot to go here. So again, we're going to just center this on this piece of cardstock. And it's definitely a little bit more orange than yellow, I think. I don't know. But that's that one. And I don't have to wash this because we're not using it again. Now we're going to fill this in with Daffodil Delight. And you're like, wait a minute. How is this going to be orange? It is orange. It is orange. Those look like oranges, right? They look more like oranges than lemons. But we're going to get there. We're going to add a lot of different colors to this one. All right, so next we're going to do the same thing that we did earlier. We're going to just find all of the correct places to put this. So we got the big circle, the oval, and then the little slice, just like that, right? So just like our first card when we stamped it and then we ran it through the machine, right? That's kind of where we're going with this, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do all of the steps at the same time. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to do this as a one big swoop of embossing folder and the dies at the same time. So I'm just going to open up my embossing folder. I'm going to bring in, look for the black right here, layer on top my dies so that they kind of snug right in there. And now this has to go on top of this to get die cut. So you're probably thinking like, how in the heck would you line that up and see it all? What you're going to do is you're going to kind of start working with it, but then you're going to flip it over. I probably shouldn't have brought this in yet. You're going to flip it over and you're going to get this to line up with your paper. And we're going to actually take our stamping and go from there. So on card number 2, remember, we just die cut it and then we embossed it. So this is a little bit sticking out, but it's okay as long as it fits through your machine. If yours isn't, if yours is stamped a little bit oddly, maybe you need to bring in your scissors and just, you know, you can trim it. You can trim the edges off if you need to, but it's ready to go because it's lined up in the embossing folder and in the die cut, and we're sending it through. So again, this is another way that you can use your embossing hybrid setup. Okay, let me move that aside. And then this time, when they come out, because we've already stamped them, right? So we've already stamped them. Now they are embossed. They just look so much richer when they're embossed, don't they? That is so cool. I just, again, love this set so much. All right, now we're going to get crazy with some sponging. And I'm going to bring back in my little paper here because we need to make these look a little bit more orange. Let me bring in my design here so we can see. So the first thing we're going to bring in is some pumpkin pie. So that's going to be like orange, right? We're going to bring in pumpkin pie. I'm going to find my dauber right here and my dauber. And then we're just going to start adding in some of this nice orange. And this nice mix of the oranges and the yellows really is what gives you the orangey look. Just like so, right? Now it's looking a little bit more orange in nature. And again, if you're not a fan of all of the sponging and all these little details that we're doing right now, you could definitely just throw some orange paper through here and, you know, orange paper. I've seen like a green. I've seen it done with like a pale papaya. So there's all kinds of different citrus colors that you can get out of here. And then we got this last guy right here. Now this one right here, he doesn't really look like, I mean, obviously this is supposed to be a lemon, but I was just playing with him and having fun. So when I deepened him down, I did a little bit of pumpkin. I also brought in a little bit of crumb cake, because a little bit of crumb cake, I don't know if you can see it here, it kind of darkens that a little bit. I just feel like it was really realistic looking. So if you just add a little bit of crumb cake, some browns in here on the edges. Don't be afraid to play with some different colors, right? So a little bit of brown on the edge there. It almost starts to look green as well, because it kind of, crumb cake kind of crosses into that pumpkin and looks a little bit greenish. And then to brighten it up at the end, because this one looks a lot brighter in the middle here, I brought in Daffodil Delight. I had a lot of fun with these. Daffodil Delight, if I can find my thing here. All right, let me show you the before. So the before, right, he's got a lot of white spots in there. He's not quite all covered up yet. Let me just throw on a nice little coating of daffodil and let me show you the after. So he just totally looks awesome, like so awesome. I love this. This little, kind of like a lemon. It's supposed to be a lemon, but it's kind of an orange. So he's just in here. I'm not sure whether you agree with that or not, but this is how it's going to go. Now, we still have to do stamping on, let's see, we have a sentiment piece, we have leaves, and we have flowers. So for this one, we are going to stamp on vanilla, and we're going to do our flowers and our leaves on the vanilla. So let's do, let's see, how many flowers did I do? I'm trying to think of where, okay, yep. We're going to do one of these and two of the big ones. And we're going to do 4 of the leaves. The leaves are going to be in Granny, not in crumb cake. Okay, so we're going to put the crumb cake away. We're going to bring out Granny. I'm just showing you if you were to get the card kits and the citrus bundle and you want to do all of these things, you will be able to get lots of things on here. So you could actually do even more leaves or more flowers. So you're going to do a lot of leaves and flowers. This is supposed to be for our sentiment. Let me set that aside. And again, we're going to do the centers just like we did on the other card. This time I did So Saffron for the centers. And it's kind of interesting because the So Saffron here looks a little bit orange. I just thought that was kind of interesting. So we're going to line these guys up. And then here and here. And all of these would get die cut, but there's what my little flowers and my little leaves would look like, right, if I were to die cut them out next. But we already have them ready to rock and roll. We're going to do the sentiment real quick, and then we're just going to assemble this guy. And there's a lot of little layers going on. Now this one, I did the sentiment, sending you a big squeeze. And he needs a block. So, now this one is also, so here, I'm bringing this back in here so you can see it. I did this in the Evening Evergreen ink. Really beautiful little font on this, like really gorgeous. So pretty. Actually, I think that's a little light. Let me see if I can get a darker inking here. Let's try again. Some of my ink pads, oh, much better. That's a much better image. Some of my ink pads, you know, they get a little used and then they get a little tired. All right, so there's no die for this. And you might be looking at this and going, oh, yeah, I'm going to fussy cut that. You sure are. We're just going to go around and around and around. And you're just going to rotate your paper and try to keep a sweeping roundness here. And turn your paper and go down and then turn your paper. So if you're turning your paper, it's going to help you to keep those curves going. And then kind of come down and around and trim it around. And there you go. As long as you have enough sweepy roundness going on there, you can always fix the edges if you need to. But turn your paper and you're going to be able to get a really great fussy cut that's going to look like it was die cut, because you know, it looks kind of fancy like that, right? All right, let's bring this in. Let's bring in all of our lovelies. We're missing some flowers, Julie. Where are the rest of your flowers? Oh, I totally had embossed one of those too. Oh my goodness, look at all the things that I did earlier. Ooh, I have more oranges to play with. I'm so excited. Okay, there will be more cards coming. I can see this now. All right, so we're going to start with some leaves and such. Now, I wanted to show you, this is also kind of cool. These leaves, even though they're together, they don't have to be together. Now they're two separate leaves. So you can cut these apart if you want to. You can round them as needed. If you think that this edge is a little rough, you can round it. But yeah, you can add these in individually. You don't have to add them in a grouping. So I'm just going to start kind of layering some things in here. Now again, this is supposed to be fun and natural. You can put in these beautiful little sprigs and things however you want. I'm just going to add some glue to the bottom because I do want them to kind of hang off the top. And we're going to put a couple of these guys up here. And then we're going to come down to the bottom and work on our next section. So there's no rhyme and reason for this. You're going to get a picture of this in your PDF tutorial. You can watch this video again if you have these card kits and you're like, wow, how did you do that? We're going to do it just like that. And then we're going to add a bunch of these on the bottom. And you could even add them, you can add them wherever you want, right? You can definitely, however many leaves and things you want on here. I just think it looks really rich and fantastic. Some of these are going to get covered over completely. I'm not even going to know where they were once upon a time. I love this little burst of the Bermuda Bay in here too. I just feel like that. All these different color greens are kind of going to bring together so many different things. Did I want that there? Probably not. He might have came across when I wasn't paying attention. We're going to put you over there, buddy. Let's see. My fingers are getting stickier by the minute. So we're just kind of adding in here as we go, making a nice little floral arrangement. One of my favorite things to do. Let's kind of put them in different areas, right? We'll add in a couple more here and then we're done with that. We're going to add in the oranges next. I'm kind of going quickly because I don't want to sit here all day and like place them perfectly and make sure the glue is secured and all that good stuff, right? So, you know, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We're coming up on our hour together, but I want to get them in here, kind of show you how we layer them around before I start adding in all of the oranges and such. Now on this card, I want you to notice that this looks like, this is the slice right here. It looks like another big orange behind it because I did that on purpose. I wanted it to not look like a slice. I wanted it to look like a whole nother orange up here. So I made sure I put the edge down this way so that I'm looking to see who's getting layered where. So these are going to come down here and they're going to cover up some of, but not all. So I'm going to leave room for flowers because there's going to be flowers on there too, right? So we're going to put that one there. This guy's going to go in an angle here. So we're just kind of layering in here. So now I just covered up the orange slice a little bit. My fingers are very sticky. We might need to flip this over for just a second and do that. And then we're going to add in this guy over here. And of course, there's a lot going on this card. This is my busy card. I like to do one busy card just to kind of show you like you can do this. It can just be that easy, right? We're going to put that sentiment down and everything's just getting glued flat at this point, one on top of the other. Because if we were going with dimensionals, it would be a little crazy time. And then we're going to add in some flowers. We've got these cute little flowers. So this kind of bridges the gap between the oranges and the leaves. It fills in a few spots that need some filling in. And we have just a few more. Now my card base is like sticking to my paper. So if you're still sticking and hanging out with me, I appreciate you hanging out with me and checking out this really awesome citrus card class. I cannot wait to read your comments. I hope you guys are excited about this one as I am. This is just a really, really awesome bundle. Like so much more awesome than I thought it would be. All right, so now you've got the gist of it. I just put all of those on there. They make sense. They're kind of nicely positioned around and about. I'm going to bring in some more of these beautiful little gems if I can. I've been having a harder time with the putty lately, so I thought I'd try that, but no, maybe not. We're going to go back this way. Back over here. And again, I've used all my large ones up somewhere else, so there we go. We're going to put 3 of those on there just like that. Whoa, what do you think? They are just really, really pretty cards. So again, with the card kits, you're going to be making 2 of each. Whether you're making cards similar to what I just created, or I don't know which one I like of these better. Or, I mean, I do like changing it up a little bit. So these are your card kits for the week. Aren't they fantastic? So awesome. Okay, there we have it. I'm going to come over here real quickly. Take a look to see. Hi, Jess. Hi, Roxana. You guys like the white? Hi, Kathy. Hybrid folders are really cool, aren't they? The lighter pink grapefruit. Thank you. Sometimes I need my friends to tell me like which one is better because I like to go crazy sometimes with the colors and the different things. So thank you so much for checking out this citrus class. I really enjoyed this amazing bundle. The hybrid folder is so much fun. You get really realistic, those little citrus oranges and wedges and everything. Once they're embossed, they're just amazing. I will have more cards through the week to show you different things that I've been doing. I've already got 2 done. I already have my Who Wore It Better done. That'll be Wednesday on Positive Paper Crafters. So I've been playing with them a little bit. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys all got to see the class tonight. And I wanted to talk to you really quickly about my February Card Maker Collective Club. These are the cards. This is the two-tone Flora bundle, right? So I featured that in my class last week. These are the February Card Maker Collective Club kits. These are the cards you're making. These are the ones for February. I love that one. You get to sign up for these by February 15th. You are making 2 of each. So there's 8 cards here. 8 cards. So you're doing 8 cards, you're getting the embellishments, you're getting the ribbon, and you're getting half a pack of designer series paper. With that card class, there will be 4 private video tutorials, plus of course the written PDFs. So if anyone is interested in that, you have until the 15th. Let me know if you need help with the link or signing up. Every month I'm doing a card maker collective club. So every month there is a different bundle featured, and we are doing 8 cards, and you're getting products as well. So it's a little bit different from my weekly classes. So I have a lot to offer. So I hope that you take me up on some of these different classes as you see things that you really just fall in love with and can't wait to do at home. And it's just so much to have you with me. So thank you so much again for spending time with me. Make sure you're checking out my blog this week. Every week I've been sharing all kinds of things that I am working on with my bundle of the week. So I've got things on my blog. Make sure you're checking emails for information too, and let me know if you have any questions for this particular card class. All right, everyone, take care. Thank you again, and until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye.